One of the more irritating phrases that people toss out to let you know that they are sophisticates of the highest order is this: this ain't my first rodeo. That said, let me say this ain't my first quarantine. My first happened when I was 18 years old, and it was far shorter than this one, and the infectious disease in question was merely annoying, not petrifying. Still, that long ago sequestering lives in my memory as an experience more tedious, more lonely, and more depressing than what we've been enduring together since mid March. So, in telling this tale, I'm kind of hoping to tease out for myself why that is so. The quarantine happened to my college freshman self. A little useful context. I went to Williams, which is a tiny liberal arts college tucked into a corner of Massachusetts near the Vermont border. Back then, Williams operated on what was known as the 4-1-4 system. The one, tucked between the fall and spring semesters, was an interlude called winter study. For the month of January, you were supposed to take one course, something off the beaten path, something adventurous. What I didn't realize when I chose Williams, nestled as it is in the Berkshire Mountains, was that winter study was really rich preppy speak for let's ski every day. And I was a working class kid from very flat Ohio. So, a sidebar anecdote before I get back to quarantine. One winter study day during my sophomore year, I was standing in the college cafeteria when a young woman in front of me in line turned to me and said, "Hey, Chris, we're going up to Jiminy Peak this afternoon. Want to come?" "Thanks, but no," I said meekly, "I don't ski." And then she fixed me with an unforgettable look. I can still see it to this day, which was equal parts amazement, pity, and contempt. And she said, "Why in the world did you come to Williams if you don't ski?" That was an excellent question, which I'm not sure I've ever answered. Anyway, back to the quarantine. Before winter study, I spent a lot of time over the Christmas break at the home of my high school girlfriend. And in all that time, I never saw her little brother, which was no loss, but I did think to ask at one point where he was. And the answer came, "Oh, upstairs in bed. He has the chickenpox." So you see where this is going. On the drive back to school, somewhere around the Kennedy O'Hare exit of the New York Thruway, the infernal itching began. After a miserable night or two, I went to the college infirmary. Once there, I didn't get out for 2 weeks. I was told to call my roommate to bring some underwear and toiletries. I wouldn't need anything else. It was just me, my room, and a hospital gown for the whole time. I freaked out, not so much because having chickenpox at 18 and lacking the discipline to avoid scratching everywhere it itched was going to leave me with the cratered face that now looms at you on Zoom. No, it's because I was a type A nerd, and I fretted that I wasn't going to be able to do my winter study project, which was producing a short film on the Nathaniel West novel, Miss Lonely Hearts. As it turned out, to my relief, being quarantined turned out to be an excellent reason for an extension, so that left me with only two challenges. One was avoiding an excruciating death by boredom. For 2 long weeks, I was by myself, no TV, no smartphone for sure. These were the 1970s. The only inhabitant of one floor on the college's old infirmary building, yes, the one you see behind me, which sits on the outer edge of that mostly deserted campus in January. I don't know if you've ever endured a Massachusetts winter, but that is a master class in gloom. I swear in Massachusetts in January, the sun rises at about 11:15 and it sets a little past noon. That long echoing hall I was on was creepy. It had me expecting at any minute to see Jack Nicholson's maniacal face come through the door brandishing an axe and yelling, "Here's Johnny." The other challenge was the beets, as in the vegetable. I hate beets, nearly as much as I hate liver. But every night, beets were the featured vegetable attraction on the skimpy plate of victuals placed on the tray by my bed. I don't know why. Do beets contain some vitamin that fights the pox? I've never bothered to find out. So that is why, along with my wedding day and the births of my kids and my grandkids, and if I'm being honest, the night LeBron beat the Warriors in Game 7, the day I left that infirmary ranks among the happiest of my life. This quarantine has, by contrast, been a piece of cake for me. Yes, like you, my heart goes out to COVID-19 victims and their families. I'm moved and humbled by the heroism of nurses and doctors like Linda's daughter, Zoe. I'm appalled by the toxic narcissism on display every evening in the presidential briefing. But is what I think is different for me now from that long ago infirmary stay. First, I get to spend lockdown with my best friend in the world, my wife. And Zoom, for all its quirks, connects me to everyone else I love or care about. Two, while that self-involved freshman in that lonely room seethed with grievance at the unlucky injustice of it all, today, his graying hair, me, knows how insanely lucky he's been so far, having no symptoms and a job he can do from home. The older me knows his main duties are to maintain a prayerful attitude of gratitude and to do whatever he can to support those whom fate has exposed to COVID-19's wrath. So here's the paradoxical comfort. This challenge doesn't isolate me spiritually from the rest of the world, it connects me. The cliche, we're all in this together, has never in my lifetime been more powerfully, more poignantly, more revealingly true. We really are all in this together. So if God willing, the lethal cause of this current lessening community no longer looms over our days, let us never, as individuals or as a society, forget the old lesson we've been forcefully retaught these last few weeks. No man is an island. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. So that's my story. And I'm sticking with it.